Hi there. Just kind of wanted to demonstrate what I was talking about. This is, I can't really show you the project. This is just a custom stencils view. You can see that there's a custom stencil down there, number 25. There's another one up here, number 1. There's another one here that's number 3. Number 3 is the water. So you can actually see kind of like the landscape and whatnot is number 1. And this is the way that you generate the effect that you're going for. But it is not one bit reliable when you are, transitioning between levels. Here, for instance, now you have the bottom, now you have the top. So you would be able to catch that on camera. Now, I went through and set up a separate project entirely with an example of what I meant by getting the vertical mesh completely separate from the side mesh. So I have the water mesh on the top, that's moving with a Grstner wave, and the other two to the side here, you can just create more of, which will continue to scale in the proper way. So you can make a panel of meshes with just regular cubes at the bottom and assign a stencil to it. And then you can probably create an actor where you literally just place them in front of the camera so that you don't have any issues. And this will generate, it doesn't matter if they overlap, by the way, the vertices will actually catch themselves. If you're only using it for stencil output, this will be perfect. And it's the exact effect you're going for, regardless of whatever the inclination is, except for that at whatever occlusion that is triggering over there. That's something you might want to be aware of. But if you're going for a spaceship that can land into the water, you might as well include something like this in front of the camera view of the spaceship, and then you can just call it a day. The one thing that you can't expect to work is the Z level. It matches whatever the wave function tells it to match. So you'd have to move that along with whatever you're using to generate your Z. How does this work? Well, it's pretty simple. We have the ocean wave, that's the one on top, the flat one, and this is literally just two Grstner clusters. The Grstner clusters are complicated functions based on Grstner waves. The Grstner waves are complicated functions themselves that basically give the effect of wave based on a circle. That's the 2 pi. You can probably figure out where the engine content for this is. Those are custom functions, obviously, but the engine now does come with some sort of a Grstner function. So this is just output into the warp position offset to create the wave. And then we have the flat one. The flat one, which I think I have the base material for in another section. Bring it up over here with a find, and then just double click it. So this one is pretty much the same. The only difference is that we are, let me zoom in well so you can see it. So we have the same pathway. This is for normals, ignore it. We have the summed waves divided by the amount of wave clusters so that we maintain the same range. And here we do the, actually delete all that. We have a vertex color that's driving the alpha of where to apply the mesh changing. We can delete all that because it's pointless. And that just goes right into the warp position offset. Everything else here doesn't really matter. It's just a testing material anyway. There is no need, actually, if you break out the float 3 and only use the Z, you end up having issues because it won't match the wave, it won't match the panel exactly anymore since you're displacing on all 3 axes in a regular displacement function. That's about it. The next step will be to generate a camera facing mesh that is always planar to the camera and is visible only when you are below the ocean for the camera itself, so that if you scroll through the ocean like this, you will maintain that same mesh at a fixed distance in front of you so that you don't have that flickering effect happening for you. And that's literally just distance. So, you know, maybe you set it up 10 meters ahead and you create more meshes or a bigger mesh. As far as the mesh itself, which is probably important, the textilation on it has to match. So let's go open up the wherever it's at. Ocean, content ocean, there. You can see the mesh here. If I go into vertices, you have the boxes up there. Those are all the vertices it uses. I can bring up the mesh in Blender real quick so that we can actually have a look at the distance between the vertices. It's 0.1 meters, so every 10 centimeters. And the water mesh itself up here, actually we don't need that one visible. And okay, so that's the planar mesh, and this is the water mesh itself. With the LODs obviously, but you don't need to worry about that. You can generate the LODs in Engine as well. Once you have the base tessellation of your water, that's usually what you do. If you're using an engine plane, this might have different results. I don't know. I haven't tried it. We can give it a quick shot. Why not? So let's say we bring in a basic plane. I'm going to add another one here. Actually, this needs to be, I need to make sure that this is set to 100 so that it just snaps, or I think it needs to be 50 so that it snaps to the half, and then it snaps half down, and then rotate it by 90, which would also be easier if I was facing the gizmo correctly. So with that there, then we can get the water slice and apply it, and we get the ocean water and apply it. And you can see this working on engine planes as well, even though it's much less detail because the planes are very basic in terms of amount of vertex count. So that's the idea. All right.